having second thoughts. I'm having second feelings now. I'm feeling that I don't believe the motherfucking story. Y'all can believe it all you want to. But after I see what this nigga's trying to do to me, for all I did was try to help this nigga, I don't believe him. Y'all go ahead and believe him. Guess what? The truth gonna come out sooner or later. And if I'm wrong, goddammit, I say I was wrong. I have every right to say I no longer believe this nigga. The mistake, let me tell you, I made a mistake that I made. They always say that there's always two sides of a coin. Right? They always tell you that there's always two sides to every coin. How come we never heard Bambaataa side yet? But everybody already cast in judgment. Everybody already cast in judgment. Until you hear one side, and that's just like with this nigga. Y'all only heard one side of the story, and everybody threw me under the bus. Now I'm looking at everything else that's going on, and I see how Bambaataa is getting thrown under the bus. And we didn't even hear his side of the story. What if we wrong, family? Just something to think about. What if we wrong? Huh? I'm just saying. Because being that the nigga going that route, I have every right to feel the way I feel. This is what he bringing out of me. He brings this out of me. So I have every right to feel this way. 1 minute, we got to read between the lines. You're talking all this stuff about what Bam did to you and did that to you. And then in the same goddamn breath, you say, I don't want no harm to come to him. I don't want him to go to jail. So what the fuck is you telling us all of this stuff for? We supposed to go to jail for you? We supposed to stand up and fight for you? I still got love for Bam. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want nothing to go. I don't want nothing to happen to him. I got love for him. Still went to...
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had to make sure I showed that, because the individual that you just saw, his name is Saneter. He's what's known as the head of the House of Consciousness. It's meant to be some collective of people who are supposedly conscious and awoke and awakened to the racism in the world. He's been out there on the streets, known for being, I guess, one of the soldiers, maybe, of Khalid Muhammad, one of the realer ones in our culture. And I don't know if he's on any kind of drugs, this Saneter person, but I wanted you to see that and listen to that, because he's responding to a guy who, in my mind, is one of the heroes within hip-hop, one of the strongest human beings of the last couple of years I've ever met or seen. And I have met him, I have seen him in person in Harlem when the story started popping off. And he first came out in sort of a press conference along with, you know, Ronald Savage, the brother Hebrew Israelites, you know, Irritated Genie, a lot of other people out there supporting Poppy, Hassan Campbell, because he came out, he dared to come out, like most men would never do, most men are still afraid of doing, most men would never admit. He came out and admitted that Afrika Bambaataa had molested him. You know what we're supposed to be doing when someone comes out and accuses someone of rape, right? We know how we are supposed to respond, right? You never say anything like, I don't believe him because of our little personal beef. I have every right to think what I think now, and I don't believe his story. I got love for Bam. And that's very dangerous, y'all. I'm telling you, when the person who you expect to be all about the community, the person who is allegedly the leader of a platform that reaches out and informs the community of the dangers of the community and how white supremacy manifests itself. You have this guy that you're going to out in Harlem after my main man Star broke the story, after some other dude from the Daily News broke the story. Star was the main one coming out. You're going to go to this guy to complain about Afrika Bambaataa, this guy who just admitted recently that he got love for Bam. He don't want to see nothing go wrong with Bam. Who are your allies? Who are you protecting, Saneter? Who is your platform protecting? He said, all we heard is one side of the story. We just heard one side. As if Poppy is just one side. No, you heard Poppy's side, you heard Ronald Savage's side, you heard a few other people come out and admit these things about Bambaataa, and you saw the moves that have been made and how, you know, Zulu Nation has crumbled thanks to Star. And you look around and you say, whoa, what's really good? What's really good? What's really going on? That's the unfortunate part. So you heard what this guy just said? He doesn't really believe Poppy. He probably never did believe Poppy. But he wanted to get some views. He wanted to get some views. This guy Saneter later apologized to Afrika Bambaataa for throwing him under the bus after a grown man came to him admitting to have been touched by Afrika Bambaataa when he was a kid. And what's the first thing that this elder, this 50-something-year-old black man does? And he calls it being real, and then he always ends up apologizing later. So it's not that people are so mad that you are so real, Sunita. People are mad is because you wear different hats. You flip-flopping ass. You're the type of dude that, yeah, you might be real, but then you turn around and apologize for your realness. Who apologizes for being real? And then you go stab somebody in the back, and then you say, oh, I'm sorry. And then you go misrepresent somebody else's story, and then you go, I'm just being real. I'm sorry. That's crazy. That's psycho. This dude, Saneter, is psycho. And he's the head of House of Consciousness? A psycho? A guy who you think cares about the community more than he cares about his back pockets? This dude, Saneter's crazy. And you think Star's gonna just let you slide? Shout out to Star.
The MG says, Star, you ain't going on vacation. You getting low because them Zulu niggas are on your head. Oh, sir, thank you for the donation. That sounds great. But, sir, Star already killed the Zulu Nation, sir, in case you didn't get the memo. Star went hard in the paint for the so-called conscious community and everyone else. And even though now Saneter is trying to change what happened by way of the timeline, Star already took Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation down, sir. To anyone who thinks that the Zulu Nation paid somebody off, you know, black people have this thing where if they don't understand something, they create conspiracy theories, or they say Illuminati, yada, 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 yada. The Zulu Nation has nigger pennies collectively. I found that out by way of researching their tax records. They have nigger pennies. And I may address Saneter at some point this morning. I'm thinking about it. I don't even want to get in between what's going on with them. But the Zulu Nation, for the most part, are finished. Please understand that, number one. Number two, it is not Star's job, nor is it Star's responsibility to continue going after what you people should be doing. Those of you who have black babies, those of you who have subscribed to the Zulu Nation's bullshit over the decades, it's not Star's job. Get it through your heads. Hassan Campbell is doing, matter of fact, you know what? I'll take the time right now. Hassan Campbell is still doing some great work. And I'm so saddened by the fact that you so-called Negroes out there are not behind him. I'm saddened for you. And let me take the time now to address Saneter directly. Directly. Hey, black man, you can try and change what happened. But if you are leading the charge, and I say this to you respectfully, of a conscious community, then you've still got work to do. You still got work to do. You've got a fuck nigga named Afrika Bambaataa that I gave to you on a silver platter. What are you going to do about it? You said you guys were going to do some type of fucking tribunal, something or other. I saw you and some guy named Dr. Ali sitting there talking that hot shit. What the fuck happened, black man? I'm not going to disrespect anybody, but I'm asking the question. What the fuck happened? What is happening? And what will happen? Star came up to Harlem. Dolo. Remember that? I had one friend meet me up there. I came up into the whole conscious community gathering. Walked amongst you. Shook hands. I'll let you see my face. I talked that talk and I walked that walk. What has happened since then? Never mind who fucking lit the fuse and who blew it up, yada, yada, yada. What's going on with Bambaataa now and those fuck niggas known as the Zulu Nation? Again, I gave him to you on a silver fucking platter. I'm not going to...
Very interesting. Guy you just heard's name is Star, more popular radio personality. Probably around the same age as Saneter, to be honest. They're both in their 50s. But as you can see, conscious community is repeatedly being dragged through the mud based off of Saneter's reputation, his way of going about things, his way of trying to take credit for things and take credit for people's careers just because there's his platform, and act as if he really cares about anything more than his platform. And once you have like an actual real case of a real issue in the community and got nothing to do with debates and ticket sales and ideas in the abstract, you actually had a real dude named Hassan Campbell come before you like a man, fearless, courageous lion, and you acted as if you were a friend to Hassan Campbell. You acted as if you were actually going to set up some tribunal, like Star just said. Y'all really acted as if this was going to be a big deal. But now you have just some sort of weird personal beef. You want to throw all of that in the trash and say he hates Hassan Campbell, man. I understand maybe there was some patching up that happened later, but you can't really respect or trust a Saneter type when it comes to patching anything up. It's your best bet to just detach and not even follow any of that bullshit. Especially not when you're talking about some Don King of the conscious community on crack. That shit is whack. So shout out to Star, who's an atheist, right? Saying he's the only one that did anything.
Say, keep my name out of your mouth. That's all I had to say. I didn't mean to go that far on 125th Street. Nobody gave a fuck. But for the sake of clarity, the white man, Michael O'Keefe, blew that story up. Now, it's still up to you. The burden is still upon you to do something about it. If you're going to spit my name, be ready for the clapback.
Michael O'Keefe, Daily News, is the one who really blew up the story of Hassan Campbell. Saneter in the conscious community didn't really reply until then. But Star, as you heard, and as I can attest, was the main one on the whole story from the get-go. And I'm just here to present to you how weird and disgusting it is for a guy who's known as the head of a conscious community somehow, but he's really more like a facilitator, the guy who has the platform that everybody has known over the years. It's just weird that he's now like speaking to an actual rape victim like Hassan Campbell in the way that you heard. Like thinking that he's lying. You never heard no guy lying about actually being raped. And you don't do that. You don't help somebody and then call them a liar, especially just based on some misunderstanding. He said Hassan brought it out of him. And that's just the bitch in you, Saneter, that came out. The petty ass little bitch girl coming out of an elder who is called the head of a conscious community, I mean, the whole thing is laughable. The whole thing is laughable. So I just wanted to present this here today. It's going to be my last video for the weekend. But what do you all think, man? It's so illmatic. And we just talked about how these motherfuckers ain't all about being constructive. They're all about being destructive. Anybody, you're going to put your label on, oh, I'm a conscious community. Yeah, okay, that means I'm going to suspect your ass even more. You know what I mean? I'm likely to think you're not conscious just by saying you're conscious. Who's going to go around professing, oh, I'm conscious, I'm conscious, I'm conscious? It's not a good idea to do that anyway. And not to label no whole community conscious, especially not no community that treats victims of rape with blind eyes, blindfolds, and cold hearts. That's just Marwan Tomodachi, man. Support Hassan Campbell's YouTube site. Middle fingers to Saneter and whatever conscious bullshit community that is. You niggas is playing yourselves. You're overestimating yourselves. And I just worry about everybody watching thinking that they own one, you know. This is Marwan Tomodachi, y'all. Share and subscribe. Peace out.